Funding for this episode of TheGamingTrouge has been provided by viewers like you. Thank you.
I'm here.
We all crave consistency. Consistency is one of those things that we're always afraid of losing. We want that reliable game or that reliable movie to stay the same, and when studios and companies kind of tarnish it, we don't exactly know what to do with it. It was way hard to believe than that. Consistency is something that we all strive for. That euphoria of going back to the past and re-experiencing the same joys that you did when you were 10, 11, or 12 years old. I personally have grown up with change a lot in my own personal life, and I always try my absolute best to look at the most positive outlook at life I can. And when it comes to me enjoying media, I always value some changes as long as it sticks to the core of what makes this franchise or IP special. Enter 343 Industries.
The correct answer to the question, who is the worst game developer, is 343 Industries.
Man, what a time to be a Halo fan.
The horrible choices that they've made by coming out and literally saying, hey, we did something different here, guys. We hired people that hated Halo to make Halo.
Making the decision to remove split screen was a really tough one.
We're going backwards.
Yeah, that it's rated T. I thought we were going to get a flood return. I guess that's just not going to happen now.
You cannot let a team toil and mess around and goof off with your flagship IP for almost a decade.
So for most of the gaming public, I don't have to introduce 343 Industries to people. They picked up the Halo IP after Bungie went fully independent and made games that no longer felt like Halo from both gameplay and story perspectives. Look, whatever I have to say at the end of the day with these three games, it's clear from the jump that this studio has so much mismanagement, overworked people, and no clear vision of life after Halo 3 and Halo Reach. So many different content creators have talked about the fall of Halo as well as 343 Industries for many years at this point, and here I am adding my 2 cents to the conversation. But I will be citing one video in particular, and that being Rocketslaft's video on every single controversy that 343 found themselves into. It's a great watch that goes into the history of 343 and all those shortcomings and why many people find a lot of their products just kind of forgettable or just flat out bad. So with that out of the way, let's talk about Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary.
10 years ago, Halo changed the way we play video games. 10 years ago, Halo introduced millions of fans to an incredible new universe and delivered billions of hours of entertainment. That was 10 years ago. This is now. The campaign of the decade, remade and remastered.
Halo
Combat Evolved Anniversary's textures were heavily reliant on reusing Halo Reach's assets. It was really present in some of the gameplay trailers that weapons were just straight up pulled from Halo Reach. The fact that this was a ported version of the Gearbox version of the game, which was the PC port, which essentially made this even more less faithful to the original Xbox game. Also, they made it a big point to showcase that there was Kinect integration. Oh boy. Essentially, you could yell grenade, and if you had a Kinect, your Spartan would throw a grenade, or you could yell scan and it could scan things. It was pretty useless. People were upset that Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary on the Xbox 360, mind you, 2011, did not have Halo Combat Evolved's multiplayer. If you only had Combat Evolved Anniversary, like you traded in Reach at GameStop to get Combat Evolved Anniversary, which was a thing a lot of us did back in the day because we were high schoolers without money, you were out of luck because they treated this game differently than they did the game 2 years earlier.
Now, in my humble opinion, I think Halo 1 is a really good product overall. Sure, it has a few issues that we just laid out, but the bottom line is, if you're just looking for a casual way to experience Halo Combat Evolved on a console that is not necessarily the original Xbox, this is your best bet. But overall, reception to this game was really positive and even sold over 2.43 million copies. But the same year as Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, 343 Industries announced that they're making the next mainline installment in the Halo series. Picking up right after the incredible ending of Halo 3, we now got the announcement that Halo 4 is in development, and this was a huge deal. I wanted to see literally everything about this, from the 3 presentations to gameplay demos to behind the scenes stuff. I wanted to see how good this game was going to be. And on that fateful day, as I turned on my Xbox in Christmas of 2012, I was greeted with Halo 4. And it was okay? Like, I didn't know exactly how to process this game. A lot of stuff I did enjoy about this game, and a lot of stuff that I think is probably the pinnacle of what they could have done on the Xbox 360. But looking back with the power of hindsight and my love of the Halo franchise, I don't find myself revisiting Halo 4 as often as I do Halo 2, 3, and 1. The expectation of Halo 4 is ginormous. It has giant Forerunner-sized shoes to fill. So let's see if they filled them. Alright folks, it's been a long time coming, but we have now started the 343 Industries era with Halo 4. 4 years has passed since the ending of Halo 3. Something aborts the forward onto Dawn. With a bit of hesitation, Cortana wakes up the Master Chief to find himself the most rude awakening this side of space. The Covenant start attacking John and— Wait. After all the crap we went through in the first 3 Halo games, the Covenant are still on our butts?
Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Anyways, after running outside, we see that we are approaching a Forerunner planet and it begins to suck everything into it. As Cortana and Chief are running away, Cortana starts acting very strange, cutting in and out, and acting all around strange. But there was no time to think about that when we're getting sucked straight into the planet itself, and then when John and Cortana come to, they have this little exchange.
Cortana.
I'm sorry. It's the crash. I'm fine.
Something was wrong even before we left the Dawn.
I was put into service 8 years ago.
8 years.
AIs deteriorate after 7, Chief.
Halsey.
Chief.
We need to find Halsey.
Chief, please.
She made you. She can fix you.
I won't recover from rampancy, Chief.
If we can just get back to Earth and find Halsey, she can fix this.
Don't make a girl a promise you can't keep.
With the game plan in mind, Chief and Cortana begin the adventure to find UNSC and try to find Dr. Halsey, the creator of the Spartan 2 program. But things turn a bit for the weird as the duo finds themselves with a new threat, Prometheans. The closest thing we'll ever get to Halo meeting Doom that's not a 4-minute death battle. The Prometheans come in different types of flavors, and they're being controlled by the Didact, a forerunner that is the most evil bald villain that has ever eviled bald villain, and sounds like a mix between Xehanort and Pain.
The librarian left little to chance, didn't she? Turning my own guardians, my own world, against me. But what hubris to believe she could protect her pets from me forever.
But anyway, he's very vanilla and wants to take over the world by using the Forerunners to do things. I genuinely forgot this guy's motivations. He's so bland. After escaping via Ghost, we end up in the Lost Woods, and we end up finding the UNSC being led by one Commander Lasky. He's pretty chill, nowhere near to the same level as Johnson or Forehammer from the original Halo, but a really good character. I don't have any problems. His captain, on the other hand, might be the single most worst character in the history of Halo, and that being Captain Del Rio. He takes a no-crap kind of attitude with everything he does, and I guess he was being endearing, but it never comes across that way, and he does stuff like this.
Captain, what's Force Recon's assessment of the terrain?
I know you've been off the field for a while, Master Chief, but this is a blow-through op.
Shut up! Shut up!
I don't know about you, but I usually like a little more intel with my intel.
And we're not even at the worst of it yet, because after a mission of finding out where the Didact is heading, we get this pretty cool vision scene, but basically it just amounts to, "You are only hope, Master Chief, finish the fight!" Even though we already did, but finish it again! Cortana has a freak out episode, and yeah, obviously she should be shut down, but at this moment in time we have bigger fish to fry, and Master Chief is super attached to Cortana, with it being the only other life force that has been in his head for all these years. And you wanna know what this numbnut does afterwards?
Give me that chip. No.
Arrest that man!
Captain.
Arrest him!
Del Rio, you're no Captain Keys. After a nice warming scene with Cortana reflecting on her entire existence, we decide, you know what, screw Captain Lollipop over here, and we're basically just going to follow the guy, basically disobeying the UNSC orders, and no one seems to care. This is generally the worst military since GUN. They end up fighting the Didact, but in a cruel twist of fate, Cortana basically sacrifices her own self in order to save Chief, and while Chief gives the final blow to our bald-haired antagonist. And in Cortana's last moments, she can now look at John face to face for the very first time and give off her emotional feelings.
How?
Oh, I'm the strangest thing you've seen all day?
But if we're here...
It worked. You did it. Just like you always do.
So how do we get out of here?
I'm not coming with you this time.
What?
Most of me is down there. I only held enough back to get you off the ship.
No. That's not... We go together.
It's already done.
I am not leaving you here.
John. I've waited so long to do that.
It was my job to take care of you.
We were supposed to take care of each other. And we did.
Cortana, please. Wait.
Welcome home, John.
After that emotional scene, John is just floating in space, alone, with no one to talk to, until UNSC shows up and we have admittedly a really nice bittersweet ending.
You don't talk much, do you? Chief, I won't pretend to know how you feel. I mean, I've lost people I care about, but never anything like you're going through.
Our duty as soldiers is to protect humanity, whatever the cost.
You say that like soldiers and humanity are two different things. I mean, soldiers aren't machines. We're just people. I'll let you have the deck to yourself.
In this hour of victory, we taste only defeat. I ask why. We are forerunners, guardians of all that exists. The roots of the galaxy have grown deep under our careful tending. Where there is life, the wisdom of our countless generations has saturated the soil. Our strength is a luminous sun towards which all intelligence blossoms, and the impervious shelter beneath which it has prospered. I stand before you, accused of the sin of ensuring Forerunner ascendancy, of attempting to save us from this fate where we are forced to recede. Humanity stands as the greatest threat in the galaxy. Refusing to eradicate them is a fool's gambit. We squander eons in the darkness while they seize our triumphs for their own. The mantle of responsibility for all things belongs to Forerunners alone. Think of my acts as you will, but do not doubt the reality. The reclamation has already begun, and we are hopeless to stop it.
And that is the plot of Halo 4 in a nutshell. There is a lot of stuff I didn't go into. Like when you start up the game, it starts you off with Master Chief's backstory, essentially making it this game being super easy for new players to jump in to see this new era of Halo. And while I do think in 2012 this was actually a good starting point if you haven't played a single Halo game, for this story in particular, it feels all over the place. It wants to be a bit more of a character-driven story when Halo up until this point wasn't really a character-driven narrative, at least with Chief and Cortana. You could make the argument that Halo 3 ODST and Halo Reach have had character moments, and actually really good character moments, and made sure that worked into the plot. But for this game, it didn't feel natural. Maybe because we haven't seen this human side of Master Chief before, but even so, I mean, I like games like Zelda Breath of the Wild for trying to get us to care about Link and Zelda as like Link and Zelda. But for Master Chief and Cortana, it feels a little weird just now being very focused on their relationship. And the relationship is heartbreaking. If you're a child soldier and your only companion was an AI bot, yeah, of course you will get attached to that thing. Especially in this day and age with the chat AI bots, what in the world is this world coming to? So yeah, Chief and Cortana's characters are more or less fleshed out, but when it comes to anybody else in this narrative, even the main antagonist just doesn't feel important. This is not the Flood from Halo 1 or the Prophets of Halo 2 and 3. It's just generic bad guy McGee that wants to join the bald gang. Everybody else in this story, completely filler. You don't need to care about anybody else besides Chief or Cortana. No one else is developed, no one else is really likable, and like the only thing I can really say about this guy is that he's on the same level as this commander. Overall, the story needed a second draft, and I feel like that structurally out of all the games, this game's narrative is probably one of the most weaker stories in the series. It's only really elevated by Chief and Cortana. Anything else in this story, the main antagonist, UNSC, does not matter in the slightest. The Halo 4 campaign and its emphasis on story is something that I always welcome. I think this is the most story-driven Halo game, and this is after ODST and VxTenrec came out. So with this giving us more insight into Master Chief as a character, rather than him being a vessel for the player like Link from Zelda, this is a really good first step into giving us some layers into some character into Master Chief. And while I think a lot of people don't like the fact that we've gotten so much character about John, there is still a part of me that does admire it to some degree, and I do agree that there is some type of cool aspect where you don't really know who this guy is, which is why I also brought up the fact that he was a lot like Link. You don't really know who Link is in most of the games, but you do understand putting yourself into that shoes of the player character, and that's something that I think is pretty cool too. But for what it's worth, Halo 4 does a fantastic job telling its story between Chief and Cortana. The other characters, however, I don't really care about. It also doesn't help that visually, it does look really nice, but it just doesn't look like a Halo game in some instances. You could replace any of like the normal human characters or even the antagonists, and they were just something straight out of Doom or an other like generic first-person shooter. It doesn't have an identity of its own from a visual standpoint. Now granted, this is at the end of the Xbox 360's lifespan and experimenting with different art styles. I can't exactly be super harsh with it, but with the power of hindsight, I look back at this game in particular and it just doesn't really have that same cool factor that Halo 3 or Halo Reach had. And also, the soundtrack is completely generic. This soundtrack is one of the most bland soundtracks I've ever had to experience in a Halo game. I know why the soundtrack doesn't feel as Halo-y as before, and that's because the original composer just wasn't allowed to work with 343 because of the giant falling out that they have with Bungie, as well as a bunch of other lawsuits that I'll leave down below in the description. But at the end of the day, it's not a really good soundtrack. There's a couple pieces I like in here, but overall, it's just completely bland, generic, and it just doesn't feel like Halo. I'm going to be saying that a lot throughout this next two games, oh my gosh. As for the gameplay, this is awkward. Well, when it comes to the online multiplayer aspect, I unfortunately couldn't get a single match of Halo 4. Even on Master Chief Collection, I couldn't get a single match of Halo 4 multiplayer going. So for this video, I'm just going off of nostalgia, as well as I'm going off of some video clips that I've seen in the process of editing this video. But before I get into that, let me talk about the actual level design of the campaign, because it's a big indicator on why I don't revisit it at all. Every other Halo game I feel like has really good level design, and it made it feel like it's a giant open world. It obviously is not an open world, it is segmented levels, but it felt unique and fresh in every single one of the Halo games I've talked about in this video. Here on the other hand, it's so generic. The level design just, again, does not feel like Halo. You have Sprint now, which means you can get to places faster, and that's a giant controversy all on its own. But besides just the ability to go fast, I do feel like these levels are built around like Sprint being a thing, so we don't have to worry about that ruining an already good game. And for this review, I was playing on normal difficulty, and everything in this game tries to kick your butt. This is by far the hardest game in the Halo series so far, even if you just put it on normal difficulty. Everybody wants you dead, and you're going to be playing with next to no ammo. And this of course comes to the biggest new addition for Battle Wars, Prometheans. I hate Prometheans. They're the worst type of enemy in the Halo series. Even more so than the Flood. Like, these types of guys take forever to kill, and they always seem to one-shot you or two-shot you, and it's just, I hate them all. I hate the small ones, I hate the big ones, I hate them all! Sorry about that, but yeah, the enemies in this game are not great. Even the actual Covenant that you've been fighting all this time just feels a little bit more weaker and stronger at the same time. I'm so torn about this. It just doesn't feel fun to fight the Covenant in Halo 4 as it does in Halo 3. I genuinely don't know how to describe why Halo 3's enemies are fun to fight, but Halo 4's is not. It's just, it's very confusing, and I generally can't explain it. I don't know what to tell you. When it comes to the level design perspective, the campaign is one of the worst in the entire series. I hate this campaign so much. They have added some pretty cool stuff. Now every level has sprints, which means that you can sprint as the Master Chief. Now this is a huge thing when it comes to the Halo community. Should sprint be in Halo or should sprint not be in Halo? I personally like sprint. I think that it's a pretty neat feature, which I know that's a giant controversy, especially nowadays. But I do think that sprinting doesn't necessarily frick up the level design if the level design is brand new. Now, we adding it into a future project? I don't know about that one, Chief. Oh my gosh, we'll get to Halo campaign evolved later. But for Halo 4 and Halo 5, I do think sprint is actually a pretty nifty feature, and I do think that it adds to the gameplay being fun, so it's not just mindless drooling while I'm trying to play this game. And they also have these interactive segments, which, okay, I'm going to be real here, these are just QuickTime events, but these are really well done QuickTime events, and I do think that's pretty cool that they were able to like seamlessly transition on the 360. Like, again, this is a late 360 title, and it's able to do stuff like this. There is cool stuff that happens in Halo 4, but it's kind of outweighed by the bad, and it's not like it's a terrible game or anything. Let's talk about multiplayer. But I want to highlight some modes here. The basic Slayer, you have now loadouts a la Call of Duty, where you basically get to select different types of weapons from the get-go, and those are your starting weapons. In general, I kind of like it. It's pretty cool having different types of loadouts. It's a new, fresh take on the Slayer format. Which does mean if you wanted to just do some casual Slayers, it's a little bit hard to get set up, but even so, having layouts I think is a net positive at the end of the day. And let's be real here, this game has two of my favorite game modes, Griffball and Flood. About to lose my Halo cred here, but I never understood Infection. If I was playing Halo, I only really played only 3 different types of game modes, 4 if you count Halo Reach's Headhunter, and that was Slayer, Oddball, and Capture the Flag, and maybe Juggernaut if people are willing to play it. But outside of those game modes, I don't really experiment too much of what's the normal here. But Flood and Griffball, these are some of the most creative game types I think I've ever seen in the entirety of Halo. They're really fun to play, and I have so many fun memories playing these types of game modes, and even convinced one of my IOL friends to give the other games a shot because of how much fun we were having in these couple modes alone. And for that, I give Halo 4 my flowers. These are really fun game modes, and I genuinely wish that more people would play some of these modes because these modes are really fun. Like, they actually struck gold here. I know Halo 4 from a competitive standpoint is a black sheep on the entire Halo series, but I think for the multiplayer side, this is a fun time with friends and family, just like all the other Halo games up until this point. Multiplayer is what brings Halo together and what separates Halo from other just shooters or other just multiplayer online games. The community surrounding Halo is special, and I do think that for many players, they did feel burnt by this. I mean, here, listen to this one.
Great, now people can just spawn with sticky grenades, plasma pistols, and portable shotguns, because that'll be fun, won't it? Oh, and remember how cancerous armor abilities were in Halo Reach? Well, don't worry guys, we got rid of armor lock, now instead we have literal wall hacks! You know, the thing that people do to cheat that usually causes them to get banned forever. 343's like, let's make that a feature! What do you mean? And the ordnance drops are so unfair. They're way too random. Why do I keep getting speed boosts and needlers when the enemy team is getting rocket launchers and incendiary cannons?
But here's the ultimate question. Should you even waste your time playing this? This is the last game that's on Halo the Master Chief Collection, and I will touch a bit about Halo the Master Chief Collection in the next video because it all comes together in the next video. Halo 5 is next, and my gosh, I'm going to perish. But Halo 4 is a wonderful send-off if you're doing all the games in MCC. It's actually a really fun game at the end of the day. I do think that it does have a bit of structural problems, and I think the story is a little underbaked. But if you have some friends and you want to just mess around in multiplayer, you can do so much in Halo 4's multiplayer that not many people took the time of day to figure out how to do in the past. It's a really fun multiplayer game, but that's pretty much about it. If you're wanting to play it for the story of Master Chief and Cortana, you will get that, but I think there's far better games in the Halo lineage, and definitely better than that one. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been following this page for any length of time, you guys already know my opinion of the next game. It's the one many people have been waiting for, and the one that just turned 10 years old last year. So ladies and gentlemen, the next time we meet in the Halo universe, we're playing Halo